my name is Lars Howlett. I'm a labyrinth designer and builder, and I'm here at the Annenberg Community Beach House to create a public art experience. 3 temporary walkable labyrinths for people to come and go on a journey of their own. So I love everything about labyrinths. I love that it's a spiritual practice of mindfulness. I love the math and the geometry of it. I love the design aspect and how you can even just look at a labyrinth, either a full-size walkable one or a symbolic one or one drawn on paper. I love the mythology. I love the history. I love the diversity of patterns and places and intentions. And I love working with communities to create, site-specific labyrinths. So a labyrinth is different than a maze, in that a maze has dead ends and it's meant to disorient you and is kind of like a puzzle to solve. And a labyrinth is just a singular pathway that meanders its way to the center, and usually you retrace your steps back out again. So as long as you trust the path, you'll find your way to the center. Is a very challenging pattern that is a little over my head because it has this triple yin-yang design with 4 different centers, and I've also never created this design before. It's a one-of-a-kind contemporary labyrinth that I created specifically for the Annenberg, and so I've drawn it on paper, but I've never laid it out full size. So I'm a little nervous to actually get the geometry onto the ground, because you can use a compass on your paper and make your nice drawing on the graph paper, but it's another thing to create the giant straight edge and compass in person and to lay it out and fit it into that space. And so it is going to be interesting to see how that design translates to the hardscape, and then using the tape, and I have this giant roll of paper, which I've never done before, incorporated paper into a labyrinth for people to write their own reflections and intentions on. You have to take risks, my work is to create a one-of-a-kind, unique labyrinth that fits to the space. So there's a lot of stress and a lot of nerves behind that, but I feel like that is where the energy and excitement and the people that come here to walk this labyrinth, they're not going to be able to walk these labyrinths anywhere else. It's going to be a unique experience, a momentary experience, and so that's very exciting if I can make it come to life. Good, that's our entrance. This is momentous. Opening the labyrinth. Should have waited. This is like the ribbon cutting, but still got a couple more turns to go. Yeah, whole day. I should have budgeted 2 days. Should have done 1 day for taping and 2nd day for paper, but I didn't have that idea of paper until very recently. I always think, do the details in like an hour or 2. But really, you build the whole labyrinth, then you need a whole nother day just to detail it. But we do have a whole day tomorrow, sort of. I'm just so relieved that the water cycle labyrinth could actually come to life, and that it was walkable, and we didn't finish it. We're like 90% done, but we have another day today to, the plan is to finish this, I gotta start it, start this, the wave and the sun labyrinths in the sand, and hopefully finish that by 1 o'clock. So then at 2 o'clock when the volunteers come, we can just detail this and finish the hardscape. So that's the goal. To create a sand labyrinth is exciting because, here we have 100 feet by 170 feet, so we have this ginormous canvas to create the labyrinth. So if you see labyrinths as a mindfulness practice, one of the things about creating temporary labyrinths is non-attachment, and it really allows a way to connect to a space, but just in the present moment, right? So creating this labyrinth out here on the beach is really about this point in time, for yourself, for our society, coming through the pandemic now. I think, we really, as a society, are going through this time of upheaval and shift in our identity. And in the past, it was individuals that usually came to the labyrinth in their own personal times. But now I feel like we're all coming to the labyrinth, to find that sure path for uncertain times. And, it's going to be really powerful to walk it all together and to be out here and leave your footprints. As you walk through the labyrinth, you'll help shape it, you'll help leave your mark, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. The wave is almost done. Just got to finish the entrance and the exit, but the wave itself is complete. All right. That's that. This is this. Just gotta finish this sun by lunch. It'll be great when the preparation is over and the walking begins, because Lord knows I'm gonna need it. Hey. Made it. Whew. You know, I feel like the labyrinth is not the design, the labyrinth is the experience. So we put the design on the ground, but the labyrinth is really not this pattern even, it's the journey through the labyrinth. And by you all being here and participating in the creation of the labyrinth, you know, you're helping bring life to the labyrinth, and that's really, you know, your energy, your intentions, your participation is really helping to shape the experience for the other people that will be here this weekend. So I'm going to ring the bell to kind of set our intention for this labyrinth. If you feel called to place flags in this labyrinth, then the flags are on the cart, or someone can bring them over, and we'll try to fill the whole design with flags 6 inches apart. That was accidental. Just a test of the Enlightenment sound system.
This has been a real enlightenment emergency.
No, if this had been a real enlightenment, the sound you would have heard would be followed by deep insight and inner peace. At first, when people hear the word labyrinth, many people think of a convoluted network of passageways, almost looking in the Webster Dictionary called a tortuous experience. And that's not really my line of work, to create a tortuous, hopefully not a tortuous labyrinth. You know, all the different types of people, you know, someone saw a homeless person in the center of the Sun Labyrinth taking time. We saw the person in the beach wheelchair going through. We see children. We saw 4 generations of a family walk through this water labyrinth together. So it's, you know, hopefully it's for people from all walks of life, you know, that it can be a common ground where people can connect, and especially coming through the pandemic, like to have these people in these shared spaces, you know, connecting with their family, connecting with their friends, and then connecting with the community. So. There's no center that you arrive at in this labyrinth. So this is actually the perfect pattern for Thich Nhat Hanh's walking meditation, because the idea is every step you arrive, right? With every step you are arriving in the present moment, right? So we're not really going to a goal. We're just arriving in the moment, arriving in the moment, and arriving in the moment. But we were all connected by the rope going through the labyrinth, and then the point where it comes back around in the spiral and you see the other faces and the shadows, you know, and then you do the 180-degree turn and you pass every single person. And so you're able to make eye contact with every individual along the chain, and it's just incredible to have that sense of connection. And the labyrinth is a metaphor, so anything that happens in the labyrinth, I look at it as a metaphor for what's going on in my life, and it can help me get insight into, you know, whatever it is I'm going through, or sometimes it'll provide surprising insights for things that I wasn't really aware of when I walked in. And so it's a watering hole for the spirit where you can connect to kind of your insights and your inner self. You kind of get out of your rational mind, and as you get to the center, usually you can let go of the future, the past, really be in the moment, and hopefully find some clarity, or at least just a moment of peace. And then you have the return journey, so you retrace your steps back out again, and that's a way to integrate what has happened in the labyrinth with returning like a pilgrimage back out into your world and back to your home.
It was my first time walking the labyrinth, and I feel really blissed out a little bit from the meditative walking, and I was able to physically let go of some expectations that I had.
Just an overwhelming sense of calmness, and Rob playing, I literally cried as well as we sat here in meditation and just reflecting on, I guess, past 3 years.
At the beginning, I was skeptical, but the more you go with the experience, you feel this energy washing through you, and like I start crying. I couldn't stop crying.